morning, everybody, from the beautiful city of Cork over here in Ireland. I am so excited to be exploring not one, not two, but 3 amazing zoological collections in just 72 hours. Woo! It's gonna be a quick one. So you ready? Join the safari and let's go explore. Hey guys, welcome back to the studio. I know I threw off the groove of our time in Ireland, but I have to say, firstly, I'm absolutely rubbish at vlogging. So hence, we're gonna get a reflective look on my time in Ireland, and I'm gonna share with you some of my favorite aspects of each of the 3 collections that I visited as part of BIAZA's Love Your Zoo Week, including, at the very end, one of my favorite enclosures ever. So let's carry on the journey to Fota Wildlife Park, which I gotta say was one of, if not the best commute I've ever had to any collection ever. It was absolutely stunning. Taking the train was a great way to get to the collection because, well, first of all, I didn't want to drive, but secondly, it was relatively cheap too. It was fantastic. Didn't have to worry about parking or anything like that. Not to mention, the train staff were lovely because, believe it or not, I stuck out like a sore thumb. Upon entering Fota Wildlife Park, you are greeted by giraffes in a very big enclosure. Now this enclosure is absolutely vast. It goes, well, far beyond what the eye can see when you walk in, which is amazing. And yes, the giraffes are cool, but what makes this enclosure even better is the fact that it's a mixed species enclosure, which I absolutely love to see in zoological collections. Not only is it great for the animals to have that type of enrichment of being able to interact or even not interact with some other species, but the educational value as well. To be able to see animals that would live together normally in the wild together. This vast open space allowed for plenty of viewing opportunities at different parts of the enclosure as well. Now, my favorite part of Fota Wildlife Park by far was seeing the cheetahs. Surprise! Not really a surprise if you've been a part of the safari squad for long enough, you know I love cheetahs. Now, I was spoiled by the amount of cheetahs at Fota Wildlife Park. There was cheetahs on one side of the zoo and then cheetahs over there. There was cheetahs everywhere. It was fabulous. But the best cheetah viewing I had to see by far was the baby cheetahs. There was 5 cubs and they weren't that tiny, like as tiny as the ones on my bag, which I had to get. Thanks, Fota Gift Shop. But they still had the scruff on the back of their neck and they were so cute. It was so fun to watch. And I was there for quite a significant amount of my time at Fota, watching them sleep, which to me, I mean, can't get much better than that. Although actually you can, because at Fota Wildlife Park, they do one of my favorite forms of enrichment for cheetahs is the cheetah run. They have the cheetah run. Unfortunately, I missed it on my trip. Oh well, I guess that just means I gotta go back. So after a fun-filled day at Fota Wildlife Park in Cork, I took the train up to Dublin. So that way I could be in the beautiful city for a full day 2 adventure over in Ireland. It appears from a certain point of view that the rainbow that has formed has magically ended at the Guinness factory. What a wonderful, wonderful irony. Oh, isn't this great? Man, I missed most of the rain here in Dublin today, which is amazing. And Oh, so excited to explore Dublin Zoo tomorrow. Now, as a native Californian, I'm not really used to public transportation all that much. I rode the bus maybe a couple times in my life, and then the Amtrak train once. But other than that, it's not the best, especially compared to places like Dublin, which gets even better if you get one of these. A Leap card. Actually, it would help if I showed you the right way around, wouldn't it? Yeah. Leap card. I highly recommend you get one if you find yourself over in Ireland because it's the easiest way to travel and use public transportation, whether it be the buses or the Lewis, the trams, to get around both within the city center and get outside of the city as well. To get one, I think you can order online, but I got mine at a newsagent's and it was just a €5 deposit and then adding on whatever you needed on top of it. But I highly recommend you get one if you plan on using public transportation while you're over there. Now, getting to Dublin Zoo was again another beautiful commute, for I had to walk through Phoenix Park. In fact, I got very similar vibes to other inner city zoos, like the San Diego Zoo with Balboa Park around it, London Zoo with Regent's Park. It was just a nice way to start off the adventure at Dublin Zoo, going through a beautiful green space, which then quickly carried over into entering Dublin Zoo itself. The beautiful grounds of the zoo certainly set it apart, with the bodies of water that too also utilize the islands type of enclosure for some of their animals, but just made it a great day out to walk around and enjoy some sunshine. You really didn't feel like you were in the heart of a capital city. Now, Dublin Zoo is close to celebrating its 200th anniversary, and there is plenty of history to see there, which I definitely will cover in an upcoming video. But for now, I wanted to share with you some footage of some new enclosures that have just opened at Dublin Zoo. Starting with my friends, the red panda, which, by the way, if you haven't seen my video on how the red panda is depicted in Disney and Pixar's Turning Red, and did they get it right? Click up here, or the links in the description after the video. But again, similar to the islands experience of having to look for the species that's in the enclosure, I enjoyed the red panda tree because, well, they were utilizing it. And it was great to see the red pandas showing off their impressive climbing skills. And, well, snoozing skills too. And following on that, again, looking for the snow leopard within her new enclosure. It was a stark contrast to the green of the trees to the rocky stones of the snow leopard space. And again, allowed for great camouflage opportunities, but as a visitor, made me really stop and look for the snow leopard. But I gotta say, one enclosure that certainly had me jealous was the California sea lion enclosure. They were quite chatty on my visit, and not really as much in the water as I would have probably been if I was a California sea lion on a day like that day. It was nice and toasty and sunny. But there were plenty of ample viewing locations for visitors, both above water and below, if they were in fact swimming. And again, being at that space in the zoo, you didn't really feel like you were in an inner city zoo. And the zoo itself was rather large. At this point, I didn't even get to the northern part of the zoo where the African plains and the hornbills were. So I definitely am gonna have to go back to Dublin Zoo and show you guys more of this fantastic collection. Now, after another night in Dublin, I was off to see a very different type of collection. For we've seen a wildlife park, an inner city zoo, and now it was time to go north of Dublin via public transport to get to Tayto Park. Now, Tayto is actually a potato chip brand, and I was curious to see the blend of entertainment via roller coasters, that theme park feel, and a zoological collection. And I certainly wasn't disappointed. Yes, there was plenty of fun to be had at Tayto Park, from the impressive roller coasters to some interesting food options. But the zoo itself was lovely. There were some unique species at Tayto Park, but they also had baby ring-tailed lemur. Hello, so cute. That one's for you, Grace. But Tayto Park really surprised me because it wonderfully blended the fun of the theme parks with the educational side of a zoo. In fact, it was here at Tayto Park that I saw one of my favorite enclosure designs. Check out this bird of prey area. Now, with any enclosure design, it's important to keep in mind these three groups. the animal, obviously, the keepers, and the visitors. Now with this space, you might be like, wait a second, this is quite a small space for a stellar sea eagle. But don't be fooled, it's literally just their resting area. Because these birds get flown not only for training, but also in the displays. Now for the keeper themselves, the central part of this space allows for a keeper to go in. There's a hatch at the top of the enclosure for them to do any necessary work, but also release the individual for them to go and be a part of the display. So the functionality of it is also very clever for the keepers. But then ultimately, we gotta think about the visitor as well. School groups often visit Tayto Park, and so the viewing opportunities for groups of people or even individuals are plenty. And the information that comes from not just the educational officers that give the tours, but also in the display and even the signage as well. This space really impressed me with the functionality, but also being able to see these impressive birds up close. And while I wasn't able to watch one of the displays, because I had to leave to catch my flight home, I definitely want to go check one out. And in the displays, you'll be able to sit in an arena and witness these impressive birds for yourself and hear from the presenter some incredible facts that make these birds just so special. Even though the three collections were vastly different, they all had one incredible thing in common: the passion and knowledge of their staff. With the staff that I interacted with, they were inspiring because of their passion and love for their zoo and the animals in their care. It was evident that they too loved their zoo. So I encourage you to go out and explore your local zoo. Use the hashtag LoveYourZoo when you're sharing photos or videos of what you love about the collection. Thanks so much for the incredible teams at Fota Wildlife Park, Dublin Zoo, and Tayto Park for inspiring me. If you learned something new in this video, why not give it a thumbs up? And share it with a friend who you'd want to visit Ireland with. To keep your safari going, why not check out my video here on why the cheetah and the flash are more similar than you might think. Go on, click it, I'll see you over there. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in that video.